There we go. Probably helps if the mic isn't muted, eh? Turn down the volume on that. Bring that down a bit. I don't know if you guys are getting the double back, but if you are, let me know. I kind of also want to hear the music because this is fun. I enjoy this. Turn down the music a bit more, maybe. Well, turn down what I can hear. Okay. So, we're making a budgeting software. I'm making a budgeting software, and you guys are watching and laughing as I struggle. Now, when we last left our hero, he was trying to figure out how to limit this to, well, basically make it so it couldn't do that, which is not optimal. Now, I was going to research how to fix that. I'm going to worry about that later because that's a small thing. So we're just gonna keep on going here. Now, today we went. Well, okay, last time. Okay, so this can happen if you start to type something and it's like, oh, well, you need to have values in this because you forced yourself to. If you want to get out of it, you just hit escape, and then you hit escape a couple times, and then it'll get you out of that, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm also using Epidemic Music today because that's where these tunes are all going to come from. So that should be fun. I'm on YouTube. Pardon me. Twitch and Facebook, so everyone can not view me on all three platforms. It's, I want to diversify my lack of popularity. But anyways, today, we're going to start off with forms, because we went over a lot of table building stuff, not object-oriented programming. That'll be another fun thing for another day, but we went through third normal form, building tables properly so that you're not going to run into any issues as far as, data. Data's weird. We're going to do forms today. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a simple entry form for our transactions. So, as you remember our transactions, we got the transaction ID, the debit credit amount, so the amount, the account that is coming out of, and the payee, and we were going to have multiple tags. That's what we have our tag table for. So, in Access, it actually can be pretty easy. We just go into our transaction table here, but don't actually go into it. Just click it so that it's selected. You can see they can switch which ones are selected. So just go into our transactions table so it's selected. Now, there's a few ways you can do forms here. You can do the form wizard. You can do form design. You could just get a blank form. In this case, just to make things a little bit easier, I'm just going to click form, because what form does is just, boom, here you go. Okay. So, you pretty much made the whole form for us, alright? So this is the easiest way for us to make forms, okay? We've got a transaction ID that's going to make itself when we get there. This is in design view at the moment. So, our debit credit amount, the account that it's going in, and then our payee. Now, what we are going to want to do is we're going to want to create lists of things, because when I'm doing the account, I don't want to have to type that in. I want to be able to select it. In fact, I don't want to be able to type it in at all. I don't want to be able to put values in that don't exist. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to change a few of the types of forms, or boxes here. The tags I'll get into in a minute, but we're going to change that to continuous form. Right now it's datasheet form. Don't worry, I'll get to it. But we're going to start here with the accounts, because that's going to be a big one, because we don't want people just typing in whatever they want. We want them using only currently existing accounts. So, first thing we're going to want to do is we're actually going to want to change this, because right now this is a text box. Now, text boxes are great for anything you're just typing in, right? Fine. But we don't want anyone just typing things in there. So, we have basically three options when it comes to this kind of box, and we're going to see that when we go to the change to list. Now, we could change it to a label. Labels aren't important. It's basically just the text right here that says what it is. That's what a label is. We're not too worried about that right now. But then we also have list box and combo box. List box, you don't use list boxes too often, because if I change this into a list box, it's going to be big, long, and I'm clicking and it shows me all of the things. Now, that can be used to simplify things, see all the options, and it's a great selection if you have if you have a known quantity, if you know exactly how much you're going to be, how many values you're going to have. We don't know how many accounts we're going to have. We could have lots of accounts. We could have 4 or 5 bank accounts, 2 or 3 credit card accounts. You know, again, I'm making this for myself. I know how much, but it's not very good. It's not very good design if I'm designing it for exactly what I need, not thinking of what other people might need. Okay, so we're not going to go with a we're not going to go with the list box. Now we can already see, oh yeah, because so text box is what we got, but again, that's not what we want. So what we want is we want a combo box. So combo box, basically, it's a drop-down box. That's what you know it as, is a drop-down box. Drop-down boxes are great. They don't take up a bunch of space. You think you're going to have as many as you want. It's awesome. All right. Payee, we're going to leave that as a type-in field. I'm not too worried about, them entering in payees that don't exist. So that's great. All right. Tags we're going to worry about in a minute. But now here's the thing. With accounts, we need to know what accounts exist, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create another table, and this table is going to be a little different from the other ones because we're not really worried about sort of the third normal form or anything with this, because it's what's called a source table. Maybe it's what I call a source table. I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make that table. I'm just going to leave this open in the background, and we're going to go create, and we're going to make a table. Okay. So this table is simply going to be a source table. So we're just going to hop right into our design view. To get design view, we've got to name it. So we're going to call this one accounts. So T accounts, because it's a table. Small t accounts. All right. So that's what we got. So I'm actually going to get rid of auto number here. We don't actually need this at all, because we don't need a primary key for this one. And the reason being, it's simply going to be a list of accounts. So the field name is going to be account. It's going to be S account because it's going to be represented by... Oh, that's wrong. Nope. Okay, so we do want the primary key. I apologize. So we're gonna actually create that as well. But you know, at least now you'll know how to make a primary key. So we're gonna go account num. Now, ideally, the client's never going to see the account number. It's just not going to happen, right? There's no need for them to. And that's going to be an auto number. So our account number, or our account field, the string account field, is going to be name, display, we'll go display name of account. Okay, so display name of account, and then account number is going to be our primary surrogate, because I remember all those fancy words from college. Primary key. Okay, primary key. Primary key. There we go. All right. So those are our two fields there. Indexed, yes. Duplicates, okay. No, that's wrong. Duplicates are not okay. Oh well, that'll change once I make it the primary key. There we go. All right, and then this one, duplicates are actually fine. We can call two accounts the same thing. Well, okay, technically duplicates, from a data standpoint, duplicates would be fine. It wouldn't matter. From a logical using standpoint, no, I should make sure that duplicates are not okay. So we're gonna go ahead and index, yeah, we're gonna say no duplicates. I don't think we actually need to index it, but, you know, I like living life dangerously. Okay, so, and then there's the firefighters just went by. Hopefully the neighborhood isn't burning down. All right, so with that done, we're going to go into our datasheet view. So account number, so we're gonna call this savings. So one of them is gonna be a savings account because we have savings accounts. Then a checkings account. Checkings account. Okay, cool. So we're making a checkings account. You know, that's all we need for now. So I'm just going to save that and close that. So now we come to here. We've got our accounts field. So we're going to make sure that we can only use things that exist in our account table. Now, as I'm processing this as we're going, I don't know if that's going to be the end result because the accounts table might have some more aspects to it, but we can add those later. We're basically just doing this so that this particular field is going to work how we want it to. So I'm going to expand out my property sheet here, and we're going to go to data because data is going to be sort of how it interacts with it. So our control source is saccount, which is the string of the account number from our transactions table. So that's good. So that's what we want. We want it to be sourced to that. That's what we'd expect when this thing automatically makes this for us. So we're going to go on to our row source. So the row source type is going to be table query. Perfect. We just made a table for that. That's great. Now, this is why I'm not doing payee yet. Our payee list is going to be a little different because that's actually going to be from a query, but we'll jump off that bridge when we get there. So for row source, we're just going to click down here and boom, right there. T accounts. So we're set. So if I take this and I go into our form view, we can see savings checkings. So anytime I add anything to accounts here, so if I go in accounts and I go into credit card, you know, I go back into, I gotta make sure it's saved. You see that little pencil there? So if I start making changes, see that little pencil there? That means the changes haven't been saved. So if I go credit card, and then I go back to my form, you'll see it's not there yet, right? Because that's saved. Okay, so actually credit cards wasn't there at all. I think I've got to probably reload the form. So we're gonna go ahead and go design view, and then go back to form view. It's gonna have to reload. There you go. Okay, so that's credit card. So anytime I add anything to that accounts list, that's gonna get added onto here, okay? Now, let's say I go into accounts and I decide, okay, well, you know what I want to do is let's go back into design view. No, okay, yeah, that's right. Because this is using that, I'm going to have to close the transaction form because it's currently accessing, because of this, the accounts table. So I'm going to have to close this. I've been avoiding this because I don't want to figure out what I'm going to name this yet. Yes, I do. So we're going to call this F for form, and it's going to be... transaction entry. There we go. Transaction entry, because that's what we use it for. Okay, so if I go into accounts, I take this into design view. Okay, I can get in now. So you know what I actually want to add is I want to add account type. Right, so we're going to go S because it's going to be a string account type. And that's going to be short text, and this is going to be the type of account. Now, I also want this to be a selection type, right? I don't want to, I don't want to have this as something they could just enter anything into because I don't want to have them have the account type of banana, clearly. Now, I could go the route of making a table and having this reference the table. That would be a possibility. But there's another option is I can simply go into lookup. No, lookup? Yeah, put a mass caption, default value, yeah, go into lookup. Okay, so this display control is a text box. Well, I'm going to change it to a combo box, which is something I could have done with the, and probably should have done with the string accounts, and I'll probably go back and do that at some point. But I'm going to change it to a combo box, so it's always going to be a combo box. We're going to go row source display type. You know what? We're just going to go with a value list. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to type in, I'm going to go savings check, CHEQUE, checkings, credit card, and we'll put one in there for cash. Okay. And we'll just update that. It hasn't been used yet. So that is really good to use if you have a static list of items. Like, once we know what our account types are, those aren't going to change, right? Or if they are going to change, it's going to be a very large part of the program. It's not going to be a small thing if we're going to change the account types, because the account types are probably also going to change how different accounts interact with each other and how different transactions interact with those accounts. So, yeah, we definitely don't want to leave that open-ended. The reason that the accounts, we want that to be a table is because if we're doing that as a table, we want the client to be able to change that. We want that to be able to be something that's going to be able to be adjusted on the fly. And let's actually show where and how we would do that. Okay, so this has changed. This is what this is here. The account type, that's going to be an account creating thing. We're not going to interact with that right now, but it was just sort of a good example, right? So we'll move on. So I'm just going to save that, save changes. Yeah, okay, that's good. So we're going to make another form, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our accounts form, and we're just going to go create, and we're just going to create form again. It's just going to come up here. Okay, so we've got the account name, the account type, and then the account number. So they made these a little thicker. That's annoying. If you want things to look nice, what I usually do is I'll just copy values here, because that's a lot easier than trying to imitate. Not imitate, but trying to adjust it with, you know, like the arrows to change the height. It's just because boom, it matches, right? And then what I can do is I can shrink these all down. They don't need to be quite that long. And then what I'll do is the other thing we're going to do is we're going to change this into. So I have to go into design view for this. We're just going to go to the form. We're going to change this from a single form to a continuous form. And the reason I want to do that is because it shows me all my account types, or all my accounts at the same time, right? So I can go into here, I can go to my drop down. Now this is a good example. We've got the space, just an ambulance too, jeez. This is a good example. We've got the space. So if I go into my layout view, I take this, you know what, I'm actually going to change this into a list box. I'm gonna take both of these, and I'm gonna pick them up, and I'm gonna drag them over. I'm gonna drag them over. I think they're on the grid is the problem. Grid lines. None. Nope, they're not on grid. So he wants me to move this whole thing, or none at all. I don't know why it's not letting me move these guys. You know, it might be is I might need to grab this. It is being really difficult. Well, you know what? We'll just leave it for now. That's fine. Combo box it is. Anyways, so savings is going to be a. We're going to go back into our form view. Savings is going to be savings account. Check-ins is going to be checking accounts. Credit cards can be a cash account, right? So that's so this way I'm able to make new accounts. Now, obviously, we don't want people making. I mean, I guess you can make as many accounts as you want. You don't really want to put a limitation on that. It would end up being very confusing if they made 100 accounts, but that's their business, not ours. But this is an example of where we can create a table that's going to create a list that's going to be used when we're interacting with another table, right? So here we've got our accounts. Now I can add the accounts here. So this is where things, you start to see how things in programming get layered, right? So what we have is we have our simple sort of, we have our transaction table, we have our tag table. We haven't used that yet, but we will. And you can see here how things very quickly get layered, because in our transaction table, we have our accounts. But we need to make sure our accounts, now if I go into design view here, no, not yet. Hold on, we'll jump on that in a second. But you can see how once we have accounts here, we need to take into, and wait for it, account, how that's going to be used, right? And we need to make sure that we are guiding and limiting what the user, shouldn't be using the term client, I should be using the term user, what the user is able to do and what they want to do with it, right? So we don't want them putting anything, anything into account, so we need to make sure that we have something that's going to give them the list of accounts, so limit them to that, but they also need to be able to change it. So that's why we have a table referencing a table. And that's what's going to make it easier to use. Now, some questions that might be coming up at this point might be, you know, why is... it might seem overly complex, but one of the things you have to keep in mind is that the way computers think is very different from the way humans think, right? So, you know, for a human, you just say, well, what type of account is it? Well, you know, there's, you know what type of accounts it's going to be. It's this list. A computer needs to be told explicitly what that list is, whether it's going to be limited. So that's one of the things when you are getting into creating computer-based, like creating programs. I want to come up with a better term for it than just creating programs or programming, because it's more than that in a way, and I think it's something that if I can get philosophical for a second here, it's something that we need to learn in the future to do for ourselves, you know, to be competitive, relevant, and many other things. You have to be able to mold computers to do what you want them to do, what you need them to do. But I digress. I promised that we were going to make a change to one of these guys, so we're just going to go ahead. We're going to save that. Yeah, T accounts. We're going to call it T accounts. That's great. Oh, no, we're going to have to rename that. I want it to be F accounts, because F accounts. So, close my two tables. So, string tags. So, this is just basically the list of the tags. Now, you'll notice that there is no transaction ID showing here. If you would remember, we go here, we've got a transaction ID and a string tag. Now, why aren't we seeing the transaction IDs here? Well, the reason for that would be is because these tags are all the tags for this transaction ID. So maybe we'll get some data in here just so we can you know, see that. So let's say I spent $20 on a checkings account. It's 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven, and my tag is junk food. That's interesting. I'm gonna escape out of there. Transactions tags. Did I botch? I might have botched the actual making of the tags table. Yeah, I did. Okay, so we turned these into surrogate keys. This actually needs to be a number. All right, so yeah, I did botch this. So what I did here, I'll show you. These are both auto numbers. So whenever you make an account, they're both trying to make auto numbers. I tried to make them related. That's not going to work because one's going to make 7, the other one's going to try and make 5, but at the same time, I'm trying to make them related. So it just says, well, no, I can't do this because that's a 7 and that's a 5. What's wrong with you, kid? So we'll go into our relationship. So I'm going to have to remove the relationship, which is fine. Of course, the tables are open. You can see how it's always little things. Okay, I gotta close this. I gotta open this. I gotta delete this. I gotta remove this. You deal with that a lot because it's always the little things that are gonna get you on these. Okay, no problem. That's dealt with. Yeah, I want to save the changes. We're gonna go ahead and open our tags, design view tags. So this is actually needs to be a number. It needs to be a long integer because auto numbers are also long integers, which is great. And you know what, we're also going to open our table transactions number, design view. We're going to go format. We're going to copy that across. Format. Yeah. Oop, nope, that didn't. Even if it's something simple, I always prefer copying. Always. That's just habitual for me. Oops. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So that should be fine now. So now when I'm in this form here, so we'll just save these changes. We're going to redo our relationships here. Database tools, relationships, one to many, enforce referential integrity, create. So one of those to many of those, great. Close it. So when I go here, we can see we've got our 7th transaction that we had already started. When I go here and I type something in, so again, junk food, what was happening before is when I would go off of that, it would attempt to make the account, or rather make the record. And then off screen, what it's doing is it's saying, okay, I need to autofill, like, are there any of these that I can't see that I need to autofill? Okay, I need to autofill this one. It's telling me to put the number 5 in it. You know, and that's what was happening in this table here, is it was trying to put the number 5. Yeah, I'm making up 5. It probably would have been 1 or 7 or something. You know, if it was 7, it would have worked. Never mind. But what happens is it's like, well, no, because this transaction ID, because of the relationship that we set up, has to match this transaction ID. So now what's going to happen is when I hop off of that, actually lets me do it. We go back here, we refresh our table, and we see our transaction ID is now 7. So there we go. Now, what I can also do here is having this be junk food. Let's say I also got gas. Now, Well, you know, instead of junk food, let's go gas. Let's go energy drinks. Let's say I want to be able to track how much I spend on energy drinks. If I could spell. I want to be able to track how much I spend on energy drinks separately from what I track on junk food. Okay, so we're going to separate that out. Great. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, you know, you can see we've got the 2 tags there. Now, if I go back to my tags table and refresh it again, you can see here, energy drink, junk food, they're both part of transaction 7. So that's what allows us to use the tag system to put multiple tags on one thing by basically having it in a separate table and have multiple lists, right? Because one of the things you have to consider is that if I open up Excel here, you know, the way that humans think is I can go, you know, exactly, you know, $20 transaction or $20 savings, you know, from savings, and then I could go junk food, and then I can go energy drink, and I added the extra energy drink, okay? Wow, an extra Y as well. I am just batting 1,000 today. So if I'm looking at this, you know, and I put my money formatting there, savings, junk food, you know, that's minus 20, whatever. So if I'm looking at this as a human, I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, these are together. This is referencing both of these things. Then, you know, like, okay, that makes sense to me. Computers can't think that way, right? So they're gonna go here. Okay, this is the transaction. Okay, it's just junk food. They don't see energy drink. You know, they can't. We'll say think 3-dimensionally like that when you're lining up information, right? Now the other thing you could do is you could say, okay, well I'll put energy drink there. You know, and that way it sees it going across here. The problem is that if we've got you know dollars, money, or dollars account, account, and then we've got tag. Now let's say we go tag 2. Okay, so now and doing that sort of straight across thing can be a bit of a representation. But the other thing to think is that, okay, well now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, so all borders here. So this is what I'm looking at. So now I'm the computer and I've been told, okay, go this far. Because you can't tell a computer to go forever. It can't do that. I'm just going to re-find us some music here. Mellow indie, mayhaps? No. Inspired. I'm very inspired. Ooh, yeah, okay. So screen just got up for a second. I want to be able to see you guys again, just in case somebody's actually watching this. Okay, so savings, junk food, energy drink. So let's say I want to add on to that chips. I suddenly want to track how many chips I'm buying. So I want to add chips. Okay, problem. Stops right there. So for every tag, I would have to add another, list, another item to here. And suddenly I'm going tag 2, tag 3, tag 4, tag 5. And I have all of these tags listed here, And then if I want to search for something, I have to search through tag 1. I have to search through tag 2. I have to search through tag 3. So that's why we have the relationship base, which isn't... It's hard to show it here in Excel, but you can see it working in Access here, right? So I've got these listed. I can see that, and that's only possible because I have these two tables. So that's sort of how the tag system is going to work there. Okay. Now I don't like this view. I don't like datasheet view. It looks bad. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go into design form. We're going to grab table tag here. Yeah, this guy here, and we're going to go child 12. Well, now where is... Go layout view. Click on that. I want my property sheet. Not database tools. Home, not home, design. So get my property sheet. So I'm here. So we're going to go format child 12. No, I don't want child 12. I want the actual. No, don't give me that. Now, are you not letting me do this because... No, I don't want the field list, dingus. I want the property sheet. Okay, we're gonna go design view. Get our property sheet out. Okay. Data, so it should be under format here, but it actually should be much higher. And I think the problem is that I did not make, yeah, because it's just, so what we're going to do is we're going to make another form. Do you want to save changes to the design of form? Yes, okay. So that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another form. We're going to make a form for tags. So I'm actually going to go create, and you know what we're going to do this time? We're actually going to do a blank form. And this will probably be the last thing I do today. I probably shouldn't make these too long. So we're going to make a blank form here. So if I take this into my design view, this is a blank form. It's literally nothing. But we're going to want to add, so we want tags, right? So we're going to take our transaction ID. So we just want the tags, string tags, because that's all I want to see, and you'll see why that is. So that name's going to change to, actually, no, we're just going to get rid of that altogether. We're going to take this guy. I'm just going to go up there. We're going to shrink this whole thing. And we're going to expand that a little bit. And we're going to shrink this whole thing. Okay. Now, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our property sheet here. And we're going to switch this up to our default view is actually going to be a continuous form. So this is what I'm looking for. So we're going to go form view, and you can see here it's just listing the tags. Now this is going to be a pretty useless form because it's just going to list all the tags. Because if I go into accounts, sorry, not accounts, transactions here, and I'll just do this the quick way. Actually, you know what? We'll just go into our transaction entry. So if I wanted to enter a new transaction, you know, we wanted to do another $50 to 7-Eleven from our savings, and this is going to be gas, right? Okay, so that's good. But if I pull up this form, and if I go back to design and back to form view, hello, you should be there, you jerk. Have I not, shouldn't have to exit out to refresh that, but we'll try that again. Design view. It's in there. Should be coming up. Oh, okay. Well, maybe this form's doing exactly what it should be. Oh, no. No, it's not. It's not doing anything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save this form. So I'm actually going to go SF because this is going to be a sub-form, right? Okay, so SF, sub-form, and this is going to be tags. Okay, good. So we're going to close it, and we're going to reopen it, and there we go. Okay, so we got gas. All right, so we got a list of all our tags. What's the problem with that? This should be a very useful form, right? Okay, so let's go. Once again, we are on our way to 7-Eleven, and we're going to go spend another $20 from our credit card because we're addicted, and we're going to go junk food and energy drinks again. I might be projecting here. Okay, so we got that. That's saved. We go back to our tags. We're going to go design view, form view. I'm going to close it and reopen it because apparently that's what we need. Okay. Oh, energy drink, junk food, gas, energy drink, junk food. That's not very informative, is it? Well, it doesn't need to be, okay? Because this is a subform. So what it's designed to do is if we go into our design view here, we take this, data, source. No, we don't want that anymore. What we want is we want to grab our forms.subform tags. So now we go back into here, we go back into form view, and that's what it looks like. Now, we can clean that up a lot because, again, I don't like a lot of the defaults that this guy makes. So we can even just go into layout view. We can go to our property sheet, you know, go into format and just like, no, I want the actual form. Yeah, continuous form. So what do we want to get rid of? There's a few things here. Fit screen, border size, record selectors. No, I hate the record selectors. I understand why they're there. They're ugly. Navigation buttons. We're in a continuous form. We do not need the navigation buttons. We can slide up and down here. We can see them. Okay, now we're. I also want to get, shrink. Oh, I just realized something. This is the same useless form that we thought it was. We can fix that though. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change our. Let's see here. Our filter. No. Yeah, we want our data, so we're gonna, where's my default value, validation text? Oh, okay, I was in the wrong spot. Data, S tags. Link master fields, trans ID. Yeah, okay. Part of the link's missing, the pair field. Okay, so we're gonna link these. Oh, hey, oh. Okay. So I think what it wants us to do is it wants us to go here. Okay, so I haven't actually made things in this fashion before, but what we need is we need the transaction ID here too, okay? Doesn't need to show, but we need to have it. All right. Yes, I want to save the changes to that. It's been a while since I've made this stuff from scratch. Okay, so if we go back into our... I've been working on a program at work that's got a lot more going on. It would probably help if I had this in layout view. And then we go to property sheet. And it's going to tell me there's missing things. Okay, that's fine. So now this will have the son of a... Oh, man. Suggest. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. The data of this is, okay, so that's actually referencing SF tags. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to SF tags. So SF tags, we're going to go into design view. Yes, I would like to make changes to that. And then our data here is actually just going to be straight up the tags table, which is what it should have been. We're going to save that. We're going to close that. We're going to open that. There you go. Okay, done. Good. Whew. Looked like really neat there for a minute, eh? So, you can see here as we move through, it's only going to have the tags that we want. Now, again, layout view. We can make this look... Okay, stop it. Okay, I'm going to remove this grid line. I don't like the grid lines either, and I understand why they're there. None. It's not even grid lines, it's the control margins. No. No. I want some. Medium. But what I actually want is anchoring. No. Move up, move down, merge, split, select row column above, insert. I would like to remove the layout, if I could. If you would let me, that would be great. You know what? Maybe I can only do that in design view. Let's see. Ruler, grid, remove grid. Does this mean I can do whatever I want now? Provided I don't have everything selected at the same time, maybe? Maybe, just maybe? Shrink that property sheet. Okay, let's calm down here. Get rid of the ruler. Nah, I kind of like the ruler. Also, it's just a view thing. It's not actually. All right. Well, this is gonna be one of those things. I'll jump off that bridge another day. Yeah, we're gonna call it now. So you guys have yourselves a great rest of your weekend. I'm probably gonna have a nap.